No bramble. Go lay down. Go lay down. You cannot go back here, my love. No. Good girl. Go lay down. Hop up. It's Alirien, and welcome to our Imbolc tarot readings for 2025. Imbolc or Brigid's Day is the 1st of February, which is today, assuming all has gone well in editing and posting. And it is a time of looking forward to spring coming very, very soon in about 6 weeks, but remembering that the winter isn't quite over yet. We still have those 6 weeks, so we need to do the best we can with what we have stored up and conserve our energy, but also start to be joyous and happy in light of spring coming, so we can start cleaning and dusting and getting ready for that new light and that new warmth. As with all of my tarot reading videos, we will be following the same format as always, where we read 3 cards plus the bottom of the deck of a Waite-Smith style tarot, in this case the Alirien tarot from the Publishing Goblin. This was a deck that I helped fund on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, one of the crowdfunding sites. It's a very big deck, as you can probably tell by its height alone on the desk. It is larger than a standard tarot deck, and it has multiple versions of some of the cards. We also have one card we'll be pulling from an oracle deck, in this case the Druid Animal Oracle deck by Philip and Stephanie Carr-Gomm, illustrated by Will Worthington, and this is based on Celtic Druidic tradition of beliefs regarding various animals and what they symbolize. And for those curious, I am drinking some wine, actually. A bit of Stella Rosa Black Label out of my You Say Which Like It's a Bad Thing mug, and our candle is a Year of the Snake inspired candle. It is bergamot and fig, I believe. I do want to remind everybody before we start that I do offer personal tarot readings through my website aliriencosplay.com, which can be found in the link tree in the description below. They start at $8, and at the time of booking you'll provide me your email address so that I can film the shuffling, drawing, and interpretation of the reading to send the video to that email. I am also currently working on setting up a means for people to commission me for sewing related work, so you can find that on my website as well. If you enjoyed the video today, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a future video. We are on the march up to 500 subscribers. And as always, above all else, take what resonates in these readings and leave the rest. All of that said, let's shuffle, and we will begin with Aquarius and be ending with Capricorn for this Imbolc season. Woo, we're talkative today. All right, buckle up, Aquarius. Rogue. Aquarius, you have pulled for Imbolc the inverted Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, the 6 of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the World inverted, the Devil, the Sun, and your oracle card is the Frog. Aquarius is mostly on a good track here, but there's something that you're lingering on that's holding you back. We have the inverted Queen of Pentacles, who in this case is giving a very powerful sense of gluttony. You are withdrawing, you are hoarding your resources and holding everything super close to your chest because you're afraid to give to the wrong people. There might be an element of hatred in that. I think it's more likely distrust, and I think it's because somewhat recently you have been burned, or you are afraid of potentially being burned in whatever path you are currently taking. And the Devil with this, I think, is signifying that you are so concerned and so obsessed over how you've been mistreated in the past and how afraid you are that in spite of your best efforts, you will be mistreated the same way again. You're almost playing the phrase, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, on repeat in your head. You're so worried that in spite of your best efforts, you will get hurt, perhaps taken advantage of, in the same ways all over again, that you're not letting yourself move forward with anything, whether it's to do with this one aspect of your life, or if it's something else that's completely unrelated, but because it's you that needs to take care of it, it's being thrown to the wayside because you're worried about this other situation. And more so, I think, with the inverted world, it's a lack of closure, it's unfinished business. There's a way in which you were hurt along these lines where you didn't get the chance to have that conversation with whoever hurt you and explain to them and get that closure, get an apology, get changed and bettered behavior. I think you're just struggling to find the way to set that boundary between giving because you care and you want to, and giving too much to someone who will only take. And that's not healthy to be stuck in that mentality of being so afraid of losing too much to the wrong person or people that you don't give to anyone at all. Because in this mentality where you're stuck and obsessed over not letting yourself be hurt again in the same way, you're not even letting yourself have access to any of these resources. You're not spending any energy on yourself. You're not spending any money on the things that you need to spend it on to take care of yourself. And I think it's time to turn toward the more positive aspects of this reading. You have the Six of Cups, which indicates very happy memory and nostalgia. All the pure joy of things that you have lived through. The Ace of Wands is a renewed passion and perhaps a new passion project. It's a new opportunity. It is creative in nature, and it's where your energy wants to go. The Sun is more pure unbridled joy, like the Six of Cups, but not necessarily nostalgic. There are so many good things right here, right now for you to grasp onto and take the reins of and ride with no qualms and no reservations. You just need to stop obsessing over the ways you've been hurt and trying to avoid being hurt again. The Frog is some of your counsel of how you can heal from this wound and perhaps move forward again. Frogs are a great symbol of the synergy between earth and water. And this is fitting because we have both earth in the Queen of Pentacles and water in the Six of Cups represented here. Frogs are symbols of sensitivity and healing. The beauty that is often hidden unless you learn to see it. Frog is meant to help you learn how to let yourself be sensitive and open to others again. In spite of how you have been hurt in the past, I think you are capable of moving forward, being who you truly are with everyone again, with the knowledge and the wisdom of how to avoid being hurt again in the same way, or at least how to avoid being hurt as intensely as you previously were. Someone took advantage of you. Someone used you, someone wronged you. Others may try to do the same, but you've been through it at least once now. You are stronger for having gotten out of that situation and now possessing the experience that you can apply in future situations and interactions with other people. Now that you've been treated like this before, you can look to other people and catch the hallmarks of them perhaps having an ulterior motive. Not actually caring about you, caring only about themselves, wanting to push you as hard as they can until you fall apart and are no longer useful, and then moving on without a care in the world for your well-being. You are capable of catching these things, but you don't have to harden yourself so much against the rest of the world for the sake of trying to avoid it altogether. Open yourself up again. Let yourself be soft and sensitive again, because it is in letting yourself be open and soft, express yourself to others and let others express themselves to you, that you can take full advantage of the Six of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Sun, all of this joy, all of this bright new energy charging forward to take every opportunity by the reins, and let yourself, at least personally, find some closure and some healing with what happened in the past, and try to turn this Queen of Pentacles upright again. Let yourself be open, let yourself heal, and let yourself be happy. Pisces has gotten a chonky reading, partly because you pulled 2 oracle cards, and one of your cards for the Alirien Tarot instructs to pull 3 more cards, which I've already done and ended up with 4, so here we go. Your bottom card of the deck is the Publishing Goblin. You have pulled Giuseppe, which means you pulled extra cards. I'll cover those when we interpret. The World, the Storyteller, and your oracle cards are Blackbird and Hawk. The Publishing Goblin as your main theme, and basically all the rest of this goes straight back into that. Publishing Goblin is untempered, creative energy. It urges you to just keep making things. Don't make things just for the sake of surviving or earning money off of them. You should create for the sake of creating. Make because you like to make. And explore multiple avenues of making, rather than necessarily just sticking to one thing you know you're good at. Try other art forms, whatever that might be. The Giuseppe card, going along with that, is unbridled potential. It's infinite potential, infinite possibility. Hence why it tells you to pull 3 more cards. And it even says if they don't bring you happiness, put them back where you found them. I'm going to take this up as an opportunity for extra meaning for the reading. So the extra cards you've pulled, and you ended up with 4 because of course, are the 8 of Pentacles, which urges indulging in your guilty pleasures, letting yourself indulge, letting yourself experience something that pleasures you without feeling guilty about it. The Comforter is about suffering in silence and urges you not to do that. Let yourself be open to talking to other people about what you're going through. The inverted 6 of Swords says that even when there isn't someone else to help you on your journey, you shouldn't stop, and you should always keep moving, even if it's just 1 step a day. And inverted Judgment, when you need rest, let yourself rest and take your time. The time to shine and be bright and burst forth in a way that no one can ignore will come, but it's not now. In the meantime, keep doing the things you love doing. Other people will come to love them with you in time. The World is about cycles closing and new ones beginning. Something about your life is coming to a close, some part of your journey. With that, it leaves so much opportunity and so much possibility for what's next. The Storyteller reminds you that actions speak louder than words. Stories are important because they inspire us and they drive us, and they preserve our knowledge of things that have happened in the past, or they teach us important lessons about how we should interact with the world. But remember that stories are only the words that survive after an event has happened. The actions that made that story worth remembering and telling are way more important. So you should live your life rather than talking about living your life. Focus on actually doing the things you want and need to do, rather than sitting around talking about it and never actually taking those steps. The Blackbird and the Hawk both call you to take time to explore and know yourself as wholly as possible, inside and out. Your roots, where you came from, your motives, your desires, your goals. The Hawk particularly urges you to know and understand where you've come from so that you can be better situated to move toward where you want to go. And the Blackbird is just that call to explore yourself, your potential, your ability, your skill and talent. Explore all of it. And honestly, I think most of this reading is pushing you to do that. It's letting you know that whatever you might be feeling or thinking right now, and whatever you've been through before, don't let the world or your own brain convince you that you are not capable of doing any of the things that you want to do. If you have the will to do it, you will find the way to do it. Even if the timing doesn't quite work right now to do it, you can still do it. You shouldn't stop yourself from doing any of the things you want to do just because they're not practical or they're not gonna put the bread on the table. Do the things you love, do the things you want to do, because at least in this case, with your creative pursuits and the things you want to make, because you want to do it, you need to do it. Because if nothing else, it lets you express everything going on in that emotional skull of yours, right, Pisces? So you can get it out, so it's not trapped inside you and weighing you down. Keep making and keep doing and keep going. You have so much potential. Aries, you have drawn for Imbolc the inverted fountain at the bottom of the deck, Justice, the inverted 8 of Pentacles, Bloody Death, Lightning in a Bottle, trademarked, inverted, 6 of Cups inverted. Your oracle card is the Goose in reverse. Aries is struggling. You have the inverted fountain, which indicates that you are in need of and seeking relief and help in some form, and it's not coming to you. You're either getting no response, or the responses you're getting are almost more insulting. It's as though you're asking for water and being handed an empty flask. what good does it do if there's not actually anything to help? There is help for you, just not with these people, or not in this manner. The Justice card indicates there is a justice, a payment on the way. Some sort of scales are tipped incorrectly and need to be set back to balance. The inverted Eight of Pentacles, in this context, especially with the inverted goose as well, tell me you're not taking good enough care of yourself. You're getting too hung up over not being far enough, not being good enough, not being strong enough, not being enough. And you're at a risk of working yourself to death. You need to take care of yourself in order to be able to keep going. I think the Justice is probably pointing to how others have been treating you. It's very possible that there is someone who has been pushing you to push yourself this hard, and I have a feeling this person might be very, very close to you. You might not even realize that it's their influence that is actually causing problems. This version of the Death card from this deck not only indicates a big, significant change that needs to happen, because death signifies change, it does indicate it will be painful. Whatever this change is, when and how it happens, it's gonna hurt. It might not be physically, but it's gonna hurt, plain and simple. The inverted lightning in a bottle talks about not only manufactured success, it's been so manufactured, marketed, and used that it no longer has the same meaning and heart that the original concept had. It's like when a media company takes the characters from a movie that happened to do well and go so hard making merchandise out of those characters and making remakes and sequels and remakes and sequels, the original loses all sway. People want nothing to do with any of it. Inverted Six of Cups is a need to move on and grow up. There's a childishness that needs to be walked away from. And as I said, the inverted goose says you're not taking care of yourself. This reads very much as being under someone else's thumb. I don't know if you're in a creative field with some sort of an agent or a director or a producer or perhaps a business partner. I don't know if this is a romantic relationship where your spouse or significant other is being abusive, perhaps not physically but mentally and emotionally. I don't know if this is a parent-child situation, a sibling situation, if this is your employer. Somebody has too heavy of a grip on your self-esteem and your priorities to the point where you're not taking good enough care of yourself. You're working yourself to the bone to try to achieve something that's not just for you, and at this point is more for someone else than for yourself. It's to a point where if you don't take some steps to take better care of yourself and set boundaries with this person, it's just gonna keep getting worse. It hurts and it's hard and it's uncomfortable, but you're gonna need to be as mature as you can and look this person in the eye and say, no, you need a break. I think this is the person that's giving you empty promises. You're trying to turn to this person to be like, hey, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, this isn't working. And they're going, no, it's working, we just gotta keep going. No, maybe I need a break because I'm exhausted, so nothing's working when I'm trying to do it. I don't have the energy, I don't have the stamina. I'm running off of 3 hours of sleep, 2 coffees, and a 5-hour energy. You first and foremost need a break and need to recover. You also very much need to set boundaries, because in starting to set boundaries with this person, I think you're going to start recognizing the ways in which this person is not treating you well and is abusing you. And I think you will be better poised to perhaps get out of this situation if this person doesn't change their ways. It's gonna hurt because whatever situation you're in, it is in some way perhaps going to get worse before it gets better. But not doing anything is ultimately worse than doing something about it and being in a bit of pain for a little bit of time. You need to take care of yourself in all ways that applies. Taurus, you have drawn Sowing Death inverted, weird ass mystical shit, the Battle inverted, Ace of Discs. Your oracle card is the Sow. You're in a phase where you're needing to accept a lot of things that are out of your control or just beyond what you need to worry about. Sowing Death particularly is this sense of various things that you have done or said in your past that are coming back, or situations where you never got closure, you're lacking closure, and you either need to sit with and examine and come to terms with these things, either by finding that closure or accepting you never will get closure. And that's, I think, part of what these two are telling you. This is worthwhile to sit and work through all of these emotions and these memories that are coming up to figure out how you feel about it and what you're proud of, what you're not proud of, without judging yourself for how you acted in the past. But accept that in many of those situations, there may not be any closure for you to have, especially when other people are involved. If you can't go talk with any of the other people who were involved, then you're never going to get their, resolutions. You're never going to get apologies from anyone who might have wronged you. You might not be able to apologize to anyone you wronged. So you're just going to have to accept that's what happened, and whether or not I'm okay with it, I have to move on. And that's what these two are. Weird ass mystical shit is quite literally accepting that some things are just beyond you. Either beyond your capacity to know, to learn, to understand. And the inverted battle says this is a worthwhile journey, a worthwhile fight. It just might not end the way you want it or expect it to. There are things that will be left in your wake as you go through this. But it is important that you go through this sort of introspection to examine all of these things and find what closure you can, even if it's just that's how it happened and it's time to move on, because there's no sense lingering on it. All that's going to do is hold me back. It's important to do all of this because of this right here. The Ace of Discs, the Ace of Pentacles. It promises and it hints. I shouldn't say hint, it's, there's a tiger coming roaring at you with it. It signifies new opportunity for prosperity coming very soon, and you will be at your best chance of taking this opportunity and making the most of it if you go through this introspection and resolve as much as you can of all of these feelings and these thoughts. You need to be at your best when this opportunity knocks on your door. Likewise, the Sow is a card of abundance, fertility, and generosity. And she counsels that you need to be open to being generous and giving. Don't be afraid to give to others. Don't be afraid to spend your resources when they need to be spent, or even when they might not need to, but you might want to. Whether it's to help other people or to treat yourself, whatever. Be generous and giving with your resources, knowing full well that especially if you've done this work so that you can take this opportunity, the universe is going to treat you generously in kind. Do this work. Face yourself, face the thoughts and the feelings. Be ready for this opportunity and let yourself be generous. Gemini, you have drawn the Nine of Swords, the final tarot card, the Traitor, the inverted Ace of Hounds, the King of Swords, and your oracles are the Adder in reverse and the Blackbird. The Nine of Swords indicates fear, intense fear, more so than just anxiety, an unrelenting grief, and just an inability to get over these fears. And there's not much that's going to alleviate these fears and worries, but time itself. And I think it makes sense that the first card that came up in the main spread is the final tarot card. Here's the stipulation with this one, and I leave it up to you. I'm going to put an extra timestamp for Gemini here. The final tarot card indicates that realistically, there is no need for you to continue on with this reading and learn any further from it, because knowing what the rest of this means is not going to make any of what comes easier or better. That said, if you want the rest of this, I am going to interpret it and include it here. If you want the rest of this, you move forward knowing full well that you need to stay on a straight path. I'm going to stop here for people who want to accept that knowing the rest will not ultimately truly help them, and you can skip on to the rest of the readings. For those who want to know more, we continue. The Traitor is as it sounds. There is a traitor or a betrayal occurring, or in your midst. That combined with the inverted Ace of Hounds, I think whoever it is that's betraying you is not unlike Aries abusing you in some way. I think you've been, possibly without realizing it, beaten into submission, and this is affecting your mental health. You are experiencing negative ramifications from how someone else has been treating you, and you may not even realize who it is that's doing this or that it's gotten this far. The King of Swords is either the person who's doing this to you, or it's who you need to be. I think as a juxtaposition to the Nine of Swords, all of those fears and worries. King of Swords has mastered the blade rather than fearing it. You need to become the master of your own fears. You need to face them and know them and understand that those fears only stop for you if you let them. The two oracle cards, the inverted adder, wants you to focus your energy on healing. If and when you find this betrayer, don't get petty, don't play low, don't try to play their game back at them. Yours is not to wound. Your focus is on healing yourself, helping any others who might be affected by this person, putting distance between the two of you and moving on. Because I think this person will get whatever's coming to them, regardless of you trying to make them hurt. Focus on you. Focus on getting better and getting away. Focus on healing. Likewise, the Blackbird wants you to look within, come to know yourself wholly, so that you may understand not only your fears and why you have them, so that you're not crippled by them, but also know beyond those fears the full capacity of your skills and your talents and your potential. You are not whoever or whatever this person has convinced you you are. You are not small. You are not powerless. Focus on you. Focus on healing. And focus on breaking this tie. Master your fears. Cancer, you have pulled the Hawk Moth, the inverted Two of Swords, Judgment, the inverted Hierophant, and your oracles are Earth Dragon and the inverted Cat. The Hawk Moth signals that a cycle is ending and you are walking away from something, and you're doing so very uncertainly. You don't know what lies ahead, but you can trust that whoever you become as you walk into this unknown is who you are meant to be and is for the better. The Two of Swords, upright or inverted, indicates a stalemate. Inverted, it more heavily signifies that the best thing to do is to walk away, which is why you're so uncertain about what lies ahead. You're walking away from something you know you need to walk away from. As the inverted Hierophant also signifies, you've recognized that something was wrong and the best thing to do was to leave. But now you don't know what lies ahead. You'll find what does, though. The Judgment card further recognizes that something was wrong. You took action to fix it. You are, in essence, a phoenix rising. Walking away was the first step to rekindling yourself and starting to stoke the flame to rise again. The Earth Dragon reminds you that you have so much power and talent within yourself, many aspects of which you have not yet discovered, partly because it was not yet time to do so. As you walk forward onto this new cycle and into this unknown, time will come for you to reach within and learn new things about your true potential. The inverted Cat warns you against being escapist and trying too hard to ignore the difficult and the uncomfortable about the world. You have to be in the world and be of it to make the best of it. Don't be scared of what you don't know. Be excited for how much potential your future has. Leo, you have drawn the inverted Five of Pentacles, the Hole, the Devil, the inverted Ten of Pentacles, and your oracle is Blackbird in reverse. Five of Pentacles is a period of hardship, of poverty, of having to be without and having to kind of muddle through with a lack of something in terms of resources or security. This deck, the guide, emphasizes that when it's in reverse, help was available, but the people who could help decided to leave you out in the cold. I'm not so sure. That may be part of it, but I think there's an element of you, out of spite for how you perhaps have been treated, choosing not to accept the genuine help that is now available to you, or not quite seeing that you didn't need their help at all. You are capable of getting out of this yourself. The whole card quite literally indicates that there is something missing, and the only person who can figure out what is missing and work with that knowledge once you find it is you. You need to figure out what's missing. And I think, in fact, you are missing something. There's some aspect to this that you haven't grasped yet, or you're aware of it and you're choosing not to accept it. Again, perhaps choosing a bit of wallowing to emphasize how others who should have helped you didn't, or how much your situation sucks for the sake of pity, rather than, I have the means to get out of this, I should get out of this. You're almost playing the misery loves company game. The devil is a card of obsession, of addiction, of dependence, of excess. And I think in this case, you are so obsessed with whatever part of your current situation is not going the way you want it or need it to, that you're not looking forward to everything that can be improved by what is probably one very simple change. Likewise, the inverted 10 of Pentacles, it goes hand in hand with the inverted 5. It's a lack in terms of resource or security. You are perhaps struggling to keep your bank account over a certain number. You're struggling to pay your bills or afford your necessities. You're grasping for more time to get things done. You're fighting to have the energy to do all the things you not only need to do but want to do. Maybe you're not being able to be at home very often. You're traveling a bunch and you can't experience the security and the comfort of home. You're struggling to be able to eat enough and eat the right things. Something along those lines. And again, I think this is a self-imposed I'm stuck at this point. The inverted blackbird kind of pushes this as well. The blackbird is about looking within to discover your potential, your capability, your skill, your talent, and taking a journey with that to come to know yourself more fully. When inverted, it signals that you are perhaps standing on the threshold of starting a journey of such nature, but you're not stepping through. And in doing so, you are doubting and denying your capability in this. However willfully you are doing it, you are not only missing, but denying that you are capable of building out of this situation. You are capable of turning this for the better. Yes, it would be nice if other people turned to help you, but maybe they don't realize they can, or that you want it. You can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. And in your situation, I think a lot of the reason that people are perhaps not offering to help you when they are fully capable of doing so is because maybe you've convinced them that you don't want their help. Maybe you've been so gung-ho on this path of, I've got to do it myself. I have to prove I can do it. I have to do this for myself. I don't need anyone's help. I don't want anyone's help. Maybe you've gone so hard down that mentality that you've convinced everybody around you not to bother offering anymore. So what's missing is perhaps the courage and the humility to turn to someone else who could help and go, I would like your help. That could be the simplest solution here. There are ways out of this, but it comes down to you needing to reevaluate your outlook of the situation before anything else improves. Because at this point, your primary obstacle is your own mentality and your own habits. You are wallowing to earn pity instead of taking advantage of the aid right in front of you and recognizing and accepting everything you can do to get out of it. Virgo, you have drawn the Knight of Wands inverted, the Ace of Swords inverted, Fear inverted, the Ace of Wands inverted, and the Otter as your oracle. I think Virgo's on the threshold of starting a new journey with the two aces being present, but in some way this is perhaps bittersweet in some case because it's not how you expected things to go right now. Two inverted aces plus the inverted knight all together signify a loss of direction, and with that a loss of energy or motivation. Some plan you had crumbled, and whether or not it was entirely your plan or if you were working with others for this goal, whatever it might entail, it fell apart. And so you've had to reevaluate and redirect and pick something new, which can be scary. But I think also there's an element of burnout and exhaustion. I think you've been so focused on working toward whatever goal this endeavor was supposed to be part of that it's been difficult to fathom any contingencies and any backup plans. So now that that plan has crumbled, and I know I'm speaking very much to the heart of Virgo here, Virgos love their plans and their details, all that got thrown out the window. Whether it was your action or somebody else or whatever occurred, could have been an act of God for all I know. You need to reevaluate, because you are still on this beginning. You're at this, you have a free choice essentially of where to go from here. now that the last option has fallen away. But I think before you pick, you need to take some time for yourself. Make sure that you are actually ready and prepared to take this journey. You really shouldn't go hiking at the very end of the day when you're exhausted. Hiking is a morning thing. It can be a night thing, as long as you've not, strained yourself during the day, right? Like, you shouldn't go do a full body workout and then run a 5K and then try to go hiking through the mountains. You should do these things on separate days, because you need a break, you need to rest, you need to let yourself relax. And that is the whole point of the otter. Let yourself play. Let yourself relax. Allow yourself to have fun just for the sake of having fun, and shut your practical brain up for at least 5 minutes so you can just enjoy yourself. Take a break from the daily routine and humdrum and go do something fun, especially if there's something you've been wanting to do for a while. Let yourself play. Take a break, especially with this inverted fear. The fears and the worries you're dealing with right now, while valid and they need to be addressed and they need to, you need to be aware that you're having these feelings, you should recognize that most of these concerns are very small ones. And small ones can pile up and become bigger problems, sure. The cobweb is not the thing to be afraid of. In my opinion, the spider isn't either, but you get my point. You're not afraid of the cobweb, you're afraid of the spider that made it. Cobweb is not scary or dangerous of itself, so just scoot it aside and keep going. Likewise, this shift does point to potentially bigger problems, but those bigger problems are not your concern. This shift, this crumbling plan and having to reroute, while annoying, yes, is something you can brush off and keep going and be perfectly fine. Take a break, let yourself relax, and go do something fun just for the sake of it being a fun thing to do. And then you can come back and figure out what you're gonna do in lieu of your original path. Libra, you have drawn for Imbolc, the Devil inverted, the Six of Pentacles inverted, the Four of Keys in reverse, the Sun in reverse, and your oracle is the Salmon in reverse. You're trying too hard to achieve a goal, either before it's time or that isn't right for you. You're trying too hard to force something to work. The inverted devil has like a scapegoating sort of energy. Anything that isn't working, your impetus is to blame other people instead of yourself. Six of Pentacles is giving with strings attached, abuse of generosity. Four of Keys tells you very firmly that you cannot go back. You can only keep moving forward. So you need to be sure of every choice. Be sure of every door you want to walk through before you walk through it. The inverted sun is celebrating before it's over, trying too hard to make it seem like something's working when it isn't. The inverted salmon itself, you're trying too hard to force something to happen a certain way, and you need to let go some of that control you're trying so hard to cling to and go with the flow. I think you're at a point, because the inverted devil also points to starting to recognize that there's an obsession or an addiction or an indulgence of something in excess. You're just not quite out of it yet. Recognizing there's a problem, which is the first step to resolving said problem. You're just not quite mentally out of it yet. So the next thing to do is to let go. Go with the flow. Recognize that there are so many other avenues that could make achieving this goal easier, or recognize that perhaps this goal is not for you after all. Whatever the case may be, you need to let go and stop trying so hard to force the whole world to work in your favor. Scorpio, your spread for Imbolc is the Six of Pentacles inverted, Strength, the Hierophant inverted, the Star, Seven of Swords in reverse, and your oracle card is the Dog. Scorpio's on a turn for the better. Inverted Six of Pentacles, like with Libra, signifies giving with strings attached and abuse of generosity. The inverted Hierophant, I'm skipping over Strength for a second. The inverted Hierophant says you maybe have been ignoring some of the advice and the counsel of other people around you because you've spitefully denied that anybody could have a better sense of how to handle your situation than you do. But I think you're starting to recognize that, well, other people may have experienced a similar situation, so maybe they do have a good enough grasp to help me be better, because I'm not proud of where I am now. Strength, plain and simple, you are stronger than you have been acting. You are stronger than this, you are better than this, and you know you have the capacity to be stronger and better. The Star is a card of hope. It's the light after the tower. It's the moment of realizing you came through it and you have the ability to stand back up, dust yourself off, and scavenge whatever is intact enough to be used to move forward again. The inverted Seven of Swords says that you want better. You don't like how you've been acting, how you've been treating other people, how you've been thinking, and you're consciously choosing to walk away and to change and to be better. And that is such a good moment. That doesn't mean things will be easier, but it's a mark of pride you can have in yourself regardless. You have seen the light and you are choosing to do differently and do better. The dog lets you know that a time may come when you will need to stand firm in these beliefs and these values that you've either recently chosen or recently come back to. You'll need to not only stand firm in them, but defend and protect those values, those beliefs, or something or someone you hold dear, sticking to those values in the process. And when that time comes, faithfulness, trust, and loyalty will be vital to seeing that through. You have the capacity for that, especially now that you are turning over a new leaf. Believe in yourself and your strength and continue on this path to be better. Sagittarius has drawn the Fool as your bottom card, the Six of Swords, Page of Wands, the inverted Fiery Death, and your Oracle card is the Bee. There are two very clear sentiments with Sagittarius' reading for Imbolc. All four of these have an element of you starting down a new path, beginning a new journey. And the Fool and the Page of Wands are both the excitement at this new journey, of all the possibility of what can be, and a belief that in spite of any consequences or obstacles, of which you are at least somewhat aware, you believe that you will overcome these and you will achieve your goal, if only through willpower in some cases. The Six of Swords signals that in taking this journey, you are also walking away from something. You are leaving something behind, and you know that this is something you need to leave behind and let go of. You need to take this journey not only to better yourself and your situation, but to move away from something that was going to just keep you stuck if you didn't make the move now. This version of death inverted tells me that what you are moving away from hurts no less from the knowledge that you need to make this change. You know this needs to happen. It doesn't mean you like it. You're crying over what's being burned away. It's okay to mourn the loss of something that had to be lost. Just recognize through it all that this was necessary, that somewhere along the way you wanted this, and more so you needed it, and that there is no going back once you let go of this. The bee here is a symbol of community, celebration, and organization. In spite of that which you are losing and leaving behind and walking away from, your own though the journey may be, you have others that can at least keep you company as you move down this path. They can talk with you, they can sit with you, they can even walk alongside you. It is your path alone to follow, your goal to reach. That doesn't mean you can't have some company. Let yourself be happy and revel in your community, your family, your friends. Celebrate things worth celebrating. Commiserate over things worth mourning. And know that however solitary the journey itself has to be, you yourself do not have to go it completely alone. And our final reading for the season of Imbolc is Capricorn, who has drawn the Night Owl, the Hanged Man inverted, the Empty in reverse, the Six of Pentacles, the Hawk, and the Swan are your oracles. The Night Owl at the bottom of the deck signifies that there's something you already know, but you can't or won't admit it to yourself. There's something that's your fault that you know is your fault, or you know how to fix something but you don't want to use that method. It's a bit of a harsh truth, but it's letting you know that you do already have the tools and the way laid out for you to resolve your current problem. It also brings with it potentially 2 extra cards, for which I'm using the 2 directly underneath it. Stagaz, Day, Awakening, Illumination, Hope. Again, knowledge coming to light, and the hope that comes with that there is a solution. The Wild Hunt being a warning that there's a path or a journey or an option in front of you that will seem fun and joyous and like a raucous time. But if you look more closely, you'll notice that there is a wake of sickness that is being left by this path, and you should perhaps be wary of it or avoid it entirely. The inverted Hanged Man points to a period of waiting where you're starting to get impatient. While that impatience is not going to do anything to speed up that which you cannot control, you need to find ways to vent and express your frustrations, however safely you can, while this waiting period continues. The Empty inverted is a tricky card. The Empty as a card points to something that is yet untouched. It has not been affected by your life, nor has it affected your life. And in some ways, whatever this thing is, your life is going to go right by it without touching it. There's something you will never know, something you will never do, something that will not come to fruition, I think is the best way to put it. The Six of Pentacles is a card of generosity. It both urges that you should be generous in sharing your abundance with others. And I'm using the term abundance because the Pentacles cards tend to make people think of money, but this isn't just your finances. It's giving your time or your energy or any other resources freely and openly to others who need them. It is likewise remaining open to receiving the generosity and abundance that others offer to you. When someone offers to help, don't scoff at them and brush them away and say, no, I got it, thanks. Resist the urge to turn down the help of others for want to avoid being a burden. Consider that if someone is offering to help, they have probably already decided that it's not a burden. They want to help, let them help. Learn to let other people help you and turn to help others in turn as you're able. Don't go overboard and render yourself completely broke, but give what you can when you can from your prosperity and your abundance. The Hawk wants you to let go of emotional baggage and come to the fullest understanding possible of your roots and your ancestry and your past. Because in better understanding where we've come from, we can better situate ourselves to reach where we're trying to go. The Swan is a card of love and beauty and grace and depth, and she is twofold. She could signify a new relationship, a new love coming into your life. She could also signify messages from beyond, symbols and omens to watch for, to guide you on the right path. I would be particularly vigilant of anything to do with birds. You have the owl, the hawk, the swan. Pay attention as birds, large birds, pass into your field of view in the coming weeks. Because as they come up, so too may be coming guidance to help you through this scenario. It's confusing, no doubt. I'm struggling to interpret this one, and this doesn't normally happen. I think you are faced with a situation where you know your options of how to proceed, and you know the potential consequences of each of those options. It's up to you to take whichever step, take the response in stride, move on with the next best step. Be patient, as there are things moving that you cannot see, and be wary of that which is too good to be true. Complex as the navigation may be, I think you will find your way through. And there we have our 12 Western Zodiac horoscopes for the season of Imbolc for 2025. I do hope that you found your guidance or inspiration in at least one of the readings herein. Once again, remember to take what resonates and leave behind all that does not. And I wish you all the best in warmth and comfort in these last weeks of winter. Blessed Imbolc to all of you. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, you know where all those buttons and links are to show me that love. But as mentioned at the top, I hope if nothing else, you will subscribe if you have not already done so, and ring that notification bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. If you would like to see more content like this video specifically, I have my entire divination playlist linked in the cards and in the description. And if you'd like to keep up with my adventures on other social media planes, you can find my Linktree portal also in that description for passage to my Facebook page, my Instagram account, my personal website, and so on. Speaking of my website, once again, as mentioned at the top, I do offer personal tarot readings through that website. If you're interested in booking, check that Linktree portal for my book readings button to bring you to aliriencosplay.com/book-readings. They start at $8, and you will receive a personally filmed video of your reading being shuffled, drawn, and interpreted to your email that you provide at booking. And as always, I would like to give a special, huge thanks to my coven of patrons who continue to be my biggest supporters. And if you, dear viewer, would like to join their ranks, again, check that Linktree portal for my Patreon, which begins at $1 per month. Thank you all again. Stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 of that Advent calendar, and I shall speak to you all again very soon. Keep aiming, my loves. Bye.